Hey there, May reading wrap up. This is going to go real fast because I have energy and I want to do it now, and I just want to do it so I can get to the editing portion. Very brief stats. I'm not really going to do anything super in depth. I did write down all my stats, but I really just, I don't want to do all the extra stuff. I read 10 things and I DNF'd one book. Really quickly, 3.5 average star rating, which seems about right for how I felt about May. Format of what I read 6 audiobooks, 2 manga ebooks, and 2 physical books. And I guess you could say the physical books are probably my favorites of the month, which is a little funny, but that's how it is. How I got the books: 8 from the library and 2 were purchased, and my 2 physical books were purchased. Lastly, country of the author's origin: 6 from the United States, 2 from Japan, 1 from Singapore, and 1 from Australia. This is definitely something I need to fix up. I want to, differentiate, expand a little more, because I do tend to read a lot of US authors without really meaning to. So we're going to work on that some more. All right, first to my DNF of the month. That is The Red Scholar's Wake by Aliette de Bodard. I read this because it would fit the Reddit R Fantasy bingo for pirates, and hard mode was not seafaring pirates, so these are space pirates. And this is not the first time that I have tried Aliette de Bodard, but I think this is probably going to be the last time, because I've tried so many times to get into her writing, but something about it, I just bounce off really quickly, so fast and so hard. So I gave it one more try and it wasn't working for me. I've tried her Shuya stuff, I've tried this, I've tried a fantasy she did. So I want to like her so bad because she has such interesting ideas and worlds, but which is a little upsetting because she does write some really cool sci-fi. DNF'd. I don't even remember how far I got into it. Probably like 10-15%. For the rest of these of what I've read, I'm just going in chronological order. Again, I got home and I wanted to do this, and I just did enough to list the books. I don't even have my storygraph or anything up, so I'm just going off vibes and what I remember. First thing I read in May was Sweep of the Heart by Ilona Andrews. I gave this 4 stars. This is her Innkeeper series. I believe this is their Innkeeper series. I believe this is book 5. This series is an urban fantasy, except all of the regular paranormal creatures are actually aliens. Earth is like a way station, and there are these magical inns. Our main character is an innkeeper, so the innkeepers are tied to the inns and have a lot of magic, and these inns are essentially neutral ground. People, alien races, species go there to have a vacation, they go there for peace summits, etc. So by book 5, we're deep into the series. There is a ongoing romance. There is a lot of different characters coming back in. This one is very politics heavy, which is very fun. This is also this is a competition book, but not with our main character taking place in competition. Our main character and her boyfriend are they are hosting the competition, and it's very, very big stakes for them for hosting this competition. So I won't go further more into the actual plot because this is book 5, but I do want to say that apparently this book was actually being released on the Andrews's website, their blog, on a regular basis, and I could tell that each chapter had a little narrator who was kind of giving 2 to 3 lines of what happened previously. And I think it was about a third or halfway through before I finally saw that this was released in chapters on their website. And that made so much sense, and it made me accept the flow of the story a little more, maybe accept the pacing a little more, because the pacing of this is very weird because it came out serialized. So once I realized that, I was totally good. Everything else was fantastic. It gave me everything that I like from this series, and I continued to enjoy it a lot. Next, I read 2 books for a vlog that I did. It was a project, a TBR swap. Ashley controls my TBR, so my friend Ashley and I did this collab. I will link her video and my video down below. Go check out her video and see what I gave her. The 2 books that she gave me were Book of Night by Holly Black and Bunny by Mona Awad. Book of Night I gave 2.5 stars, and Bunny I gave 4.5 stars. So I have full spoiler vlog, reactions, the whole 9 yards for both of those books. So go check out my video to see how I felt about those. I guess really quickly, Book of Night, I really liked the urban fantasy ideas, and I felt there was a great like structure for the ideas, but I didn't quite like the main character that the story was being told through. So that bugged me a lot and really brought things down for me. But I really, really liked the ideas and where it ended. So I am going to check out the second book, even though I gave this one a low rating, because I'm so curious. So I guess it was a minor success in that form. And then Bunny was a fantastic success. Very weird fucking book. If you don't care about if you've already read it, go check out my vlog to see my reactions. If you know, you know. And if you have not read it, don't go and read the spoilers. Read it yourself. Experience this book for yourself. And then go back and watch for entertainment, I guess. Very fun collab with Ashley. Again, go check out her video. Both of them are going to be linked in the description. Next, I read Cold Clay by Juneau Black. This is a cozy mystery where all of the animals are woodland creatures. This takes place in a village in the woods, and our main character is a fox. She is dating a police bear. She isn't a reporter. She's dating a police bear. Her best friend is a raven who owns a bookstore, and murder ensues and she investigates. Not much to say here. If you've read one cozy mystery, you've read them all. The only real interesting thing about this is that they're all animals. 3 stars. There's not a lot to say about it. Next, I read Brighter Than Scale, Swifter Than Flame by Neon Yang. I was very much looking forward to this, and it is 3 stars. I think what happened... Okay, so this is a story in a fantasy world where there are dragons, and there are certain people who have this innate magic to fight and kill dragons. And our main character, who is living in this different country, she is half of this country and half of her father's land. And her father, when he sees that she has this power, he sends her back to his land that she knows nothing about to be trained up in basically dragon killing knights. And when she gets there, she is very much indoctrinated into that society. She very much creates this barrier between her and the world. Literally, she puts on the armor of, this knight company, and she always wears her helmet. She's known as the one who always wears a helmet. She's ferocious. She's great at killing dragons. But the trauma that she experiences when moving from her home to this land that she knows nothing about and is immediately othered, has her creating this barrier. A few years after this, after she's grown into who she is, this rigid person that she is instructed to go to a country that is bordering both this adopted homeland of her father and her previous home of her mother, this new land where there is rumors of a dragon living there. And it's kind of like just an excuse for the emperor of her land to kind of get a foothold in. So she goes and she is brought into the royal court. She befriends the king, who is a woman of this country, and they start up a relationship. And I feel like as soon as our main character arrived in the country and met the ruler, and we got like a tiny bit past that, right? I knew exactly where the story was going. I knew exactly what beats the story was going to hit. Plot beat for plot beat. I predicted everything. And that kind of took away from the reading experience for me. And I don't know if this was on purpose, because Neon Yang, I really loved the Genesis of Misery when I read it. And that was a story that was incredibly unique and interesting and not obvious, So I don't know if Neon Yang was doing this in a way to explore these obvious plot beats, but through this sapphic lens, through this fantasy world. Either way, I felt so disappointed because I thought surely there's something else going on here, but no. Everything I predicted came true. Exactly the way it would, exactly at the point in the book it would. So the writing is beautiful, the character work is fantastic. It was so disappointing for me to give this 3 stars, solely because of that. But look at this cover. Despite that, I might buy a physical copy for myself because everything else about it is great. It's so interesting. It's so lush. It's so vivid. I wish I hadn't predicted everything. I really do. Okay, next I read, oh, I have Bunny here. I completely forgot to hold it up. Next, and so excitingly, I read Of Monsters and Mainframes by Barbara Truelove. This is a sci-fi book out from Bindery Books from the imprint Easy Cat Press. So Bindery Books actually takes tastemakers. They call them tastemakers. They are book influencers, usually people with very large followings on TikTok. This tastemaker is Easy Cat, who has a very large following. I believe this is the second book from his imprint. I started skimming through this. You know, I like to read a chapter or two at the bookstore to see if I'd like a book. And I was so into this, I finished it within 24 hours when I got home. This is so, okay, so follow me here. We are in this sci-fi world where, very far-flung future, I guess, this AI of a passenger ship, like a long-haul passenger ship, has something happen where every single passenger on the ship is killed. And it seems like Dracula did it. But nobody believes that Dracula did it because there's no evidence of Dracula on cameras or anything, because Dracula's a vampire. So it's like a freak accident, and then the AI is kind of scrubbed clean and sent off again. And then another fantasy creature starts killing things on the ship, kills all the humans, and then do it again. Another fantasy creature shows up. And this happens a few times. And in between, we get glimpses of like, there's this brother and sister duo during one of the fantasy killing sprees that become part of the story. And then it's so wacky. We have the main ship AI and then the AI's doctor, who also sort of have this weird push and pull relationship that eventually comes together. And it eventually does become a found family. Now, I gave this 4 stars because while I loved every wackadoo bit of it, I think this could have benefited from doing a bit more to establish that kind of found family at the end, because by the end, the only characters that I really believe are found family are the siblings and the 2 AIs on the ship. There are other characters that come in, but they come a little too late. One of them comes in halfway through, kind of believe that they're a part of it, and then 2 others come towards in like the last third. One of them so far towards the end that it's really hard to believe that this character has such a relationship with the rest of the crew. I think this kind of, it wanted to be a found family by the end, and god damn it, it was going to make it a found family by the end, even though half of it didn't make sense. But that was my only real gripe for this. I didn't mind it. I really loved how wacky it was and how heartfelt it was. And it's just so interesting. Yeah, you can see how short the chapters are. It just does really interesting stuff with the narrative of the AIs and interspersing other narratives from humans and other creatures. It's all these classic movie monsters, paranormal monsters, in a sci-fi setting with the AI ship as the main character. And it's just wacky, and I loved it. I loved it so fucking much. Like, I really enjoyed this. I just wish it had stuck the found family landing, because that would have pushed it to a 5 for me. So it didn't quite hit 5 for me, but honestly, talking about it, I'm probably going to push this up to a 4.5. I don't think it's just a 4-star. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Really surprised at the quality of this, especially coming from Bindery Books. I've been kind of curious about Bindery and the project that they're doing, so this was a success for me. I do think that there is kind of a quality to this where I feel like if you grew up reading fanfic, this will really work for you, like really work for you. But I don't mean that derogatorily. I mean that with love. I grew up reading fanfic. I fucking love fanfic. So I mean that with all the love of my heart. If you grew up reading fanfic, I feel like this will truly, truly work for you. But it's a fun story all around. It's a silly story. If you go in just accepting the silliness of it and the fact that there's a heart to it, I think you'll really have a good time with this. I'm so happy, that random sci-fi fantasy person procurer at that Barnes & Noble is really great. And that, you know, I found it on the shelf and that I, you know, took a chance on it. And I'm so happy. This was really fantastic. So lots of fun. Definitely check it out. So we're going to do that. Yeah. How's that? How's that for aesthetic? Oh, it's getting warm. Okay. And my shoulders are hurting. Jesus. Okay. I'm getting old. Next, I read Kills Well with Others by Deanna Raybourn. This was 4 stars. This is a sequel to the first book, which was Killers of a Certain Age, basically following 4 women assassins who have been assassins all their lives. They're in their 60s and they're trying to retire, but somebody tries to kill them in the first book. The second book, people are trying to kill them again, so they have to come back together again and figure out what's going on. This felt like kind of like, you know, second verse, same as the first, but I liked the first verse so much I didn't really mind. I really like the characters. I like the energy. I like the story. I did think that the flashbacks were a little too much. It was just, the flashbacks were just like info dump after info dump after info dump for these like missions that they did in the past that do tie it into the future, but we didn't need like I was listening to audio, so it felt like it went on forever. Exposition about their marks and about Nazis and stealing art and all of this stuff. Like the flashbacks went on forever. But as a whole, I enjoy this world and these characters and I enjoyed it. Like, not much else to say. Like, if you liked the first book, I think you'll like this one much the same. If you didn't like the first book, not much different here, so you may not like this one either. So but yeah, 4 stars. Next, I read Mirror Lake by Juneau Black. This is book 3 in the Shady Hollow cozy mystery series where they're all animals. This I gave 2 stars because if you read, go read that synopsis, go look up the synopsis of the book, and if you did like me, you knew what the answer was from the fucking synopsis. And this book it felt so simple, almost to the point of being insulting. I kept waiting for some big thing, some big reveal, some big twist, but the big twist was the obvious thing. And I just spent the entire book waiting for the characters to catch up. There were so many plot points and clues being dropped that I picked up on immediately and knew, oh, so that means this, and that means this, and then that means this character is the killer, and that means the killer was doing this and this and this. But I felt like I was a football league ahead of the main character who's doing investigating. And I had to remind myself, this is supposedly adult. These are supposedly adult novels. It felt like a fucking middle grade cozy mystery. It really did. Like, it was that simple. It was that silly. Like, there's a charm to the coziness, but at some point you have to trust that your readers have enough of a brain to do more than just a really obvious plot and rely only on the coziness of having all the characters be animals. And like, also at this point, like, what is the fucking point of the police? I don't think that Vera and Orville should be dating. They make no sense as a couple whatsoever. I don't know if they even like each other. I don't get the feeling that they like each other. The book tells me they like each other, but I don't feel like they like each other. It's a cozy mystery. She has to be dating the local police officer, deputy chief, so she is. Anyways, 2 stars. I felt very insulted by how stupid and obvious this book was. I don't know that I'll continue. I may, because they're easy to read, and I guess I'll see what the next book is like. But if the next book is also very obvious, then I'm definitely done. This was stupid. Last, I read I Think Our Son Is Gay, volumes 1 and 2 by Okura. This is a manga series about a loving doting mother who thinks that her son is gay. Her older son is gay, and he is very, very, very obvious about it, but also he is so over the top in how he tries to hide it, thinking that he needs to hide it. And she is watching him trying to navigate the world as a closeted gay teen with crushes, and how unfortunately his father kind of like, and you can see there's a reason why he stays closeted. His father's kind of oblivious. His father's away for business at months on end, so his father's really oblivious. And she loves her kids so much, and she loves her son so much. And this is just really slice of life about this mom and her sons, and her oldest son, who she thinks is gay. And she accepts him. She's just worried about him being out in the world. And her younger son, his little brother, also thinks it's obvious. So they both try to do hints that they think it's it's okay. But the older son is just so caught up and scared of being outed that he doesn't really see that his family or his mom and his brother would think it's okay. It's really sweet. It's really cheesy at times because it's silly, but it's just a slice of life, cute, contemporary look at this kind of story. I really, really like it. I read 2 volumes. I did read a 3rd volume, but the 3rd volume technically it was in June. I do have the 4th and the 5th from the library. I read these all through my library on ebook. So I'm going to finish out, I think there's only 5, so I'm going to finish those out. It's really sweet to look at healthy family dynamics, and even healthy family dynamics with one family member who is kind of absent and maybe kind of oblivious on the other end of the spectrum. The art is really great. I highly recommend it. It's a really sweet story. That's everything I read in May. Really quick, hopefully. Decent reading month. Didn't feel as, great as it may sound, but those mangas were fantastic, great fun. I had a lot of fun with Of Monsters and Mainframes. I really, really think you should check it out. It's so weird. It's so weird and goofy, but in a great way. And I really, really liked it. So highly recommend. Thank you for watching as always. Let me know what you thought of anything I read this month, and I will talk to you soon. See you later.